All right, Sarah, we discussed this a little earlier, and these guys got a little fired up that he wasn't being completely honest. You buying that Danny Ainge doesn't care that LeBron left the Eastern Conference?
No, I love Danny Ainge. I know you love Danny Ainge.
We all love Danny Ainge.
He's got moxie. He's made incredible decisions. Who has been to the finals the last 8 years? LeBron James. That means Danny Ainge and his team have not been to the finals for more than the last 8 years. But winning the Eastern Conference is still a step. Getting through LeBron James to get to a team, let's say again, it is the Golden State Warriors, that matters. So, no, I don't buy that he believes that. I do think Danny Ainge, maybe in his head or his mind, that's the way he thinks about it. And, of course, what you're thinking about is ultimately winning a title and that being your goal. But it starts, especially with a young team, of getting to the finals. And with LeBron James gone, I imagine every executive, every coach, every staff is celebrating that LeBron James went to the
last 8 years, there is no team that has been eliminated more in the playoffs by no other player than the Celtics have than with LeBron. Like, that's both conferences, that's all players, there's no team that has had one player we talk about the Raptors. Oh, they can't get past LeBron. Last 8 years, the Raptors lost LeBron 3 times.
Right.
Celtics have lost LeBron 5 times. One time, they ended up a year later tearing the whole thing down and deciding we're going to play for the future. They then build it up quicker than possible. They still can't get past LeBron. They take LeBron's best teammate, and the guy they trade to him is not even on the team once they play again, and they still can't get past LeBron. Like, of course, the idea that to win a championship now, because of the way the playoffs are set up, you only have to beat LeBron or the Warriors, as opposed to LeBron and the Warriors, is a tremendous relief. And, like, do I believe him when he said at the very beginning of the clip, I don't understand the question? The question was, what was your reaction when LeBron left? Like, that was a very basic question. That's a very simple question. I'm not sure why the answer. I would understand if it was asked that to Bob Myers. What was your reaction when LeBron went out west? I mean, what do you mean? Like, we're the defending champs, 2-time defending champs. Like, we're worried about us. Like, that's not the case for the teams in the East.
It shouldn't be. And typically when people do business, they survey what type of business they're in and what do they need to do as far as their product to make their product successful. So not only has LeBron dominated the East, no team has a winning record in the East against LeBron. So if all of them said what Danny Ainge is saying, they'd be lying. When we established this show, we looked at the best sports shows out there, that being in radio and in television, in our time slot and around the clock. The reason why we put the team together for which we did, with Nick's experience as a young up-and-coming broadcaster, Jenna with her being successful in the morning hour, and with me, I had a previous job in the morning in this time slot. So we would be like, oh, we created this show, but we didn't look at our competitors. We didn't look at the competition. You would be naive. And the chances of being successful, I believe that your rate goes down. So the Celtics believe they should have made it to the finals last year. They had Game 7 in their building. I know that they didn't have their 2 stars. Danny Ainge and that coaching staff thought that they were going to make it to the finals. But LeBron James, he had that Game 7 performance that only LeBron could have that prevented that. So I don't believe Danny Ainge. His goal should be winning the East, because getting the Celtics into the finals would be a tremendous, tremendous season.
So, Sarah, let's piggyback off that. How close are the Celtics to being legitimate contenders?
In the East or
overall?
Titles? Overall, I think I think they are just about as close as any other team behind the Golden State Warriors. I think the Golden State Warriors are miles ahead of everyone else and the prohibitive favorites. But past them, I think for the Eastern Conference, for getting to the finals, Philadelphia is going to be a tough team. Toronto comes back having had the best record. But I think that Boston, especially seeing the additions of Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, how they fit in, Jason Tatum with another year, the type of experience. I mean, you mentioned them believing they should have got to the finals. Think about the experience they got throughout the course of the last postseason. So I don't believe anyone is close to Golden State. But after that, I would put them with anyone else.
Yeah, Houston definitely took a step back. So you'd have to look at the 2 teams in the East, that being the Celtics and the 76ers. Nick believes the 76ers will be better. Okay, no problem. The Celtics got two prominent players that will be coming back. I believe Warriors, Celtics, and then potentially Philadelphia and Houston as far as the NBA rank. I think the Boston Celtics right now are the second best team in the NBA.
It's tough to have any are they a contender discussion because of what Sarah said. It feels like the Warriors are miles ahead of everybody. But if we have the discussion like this, let's just pretend for a moment we know the Warriors don't win the title next year. Who's the champion? Now, we all feel like we know the Warriors probably are going to win the title. But let's say that were to happen. I think Houston is still the closest. I think Houston, by the way, yesterday they added James Ennis, who I think people say, who is that? I think he'll fill Luke Richard-Mbamute's role just fine. They still have to fill the void by Trevor Ariza, but I think Houston was still, they were far and away the second best team. They were the only team that was close to Golden State last year. So I think Houston's still there. You're right. I'm betting on Philly. I know that the Celtics have two stars coming back. I think Philly has two stars that will get markedly better next year. And I don't know. I think adding Kyrie and Gordon Hayward would have more of an impact on most teams than it will have on Boston, only because they are so well coached, they have such good depth, and they were so good defensively last year. Like, you're not going to get better than number one defense. Imagine
how much better their second unit's going to be going against your second unit. Imagine how much better they're going to be at point guard than Philadelphia is going to be at point guard. So between the point guard, the head coach, and the second unit, I believe that the Celtics, they are the team to beat.
Sure, and I don't know that they're going to be better than Philly at point guard at all, much less much better. If Ben Simmons is the point guard next year, as I believe he is. But that's, again, we don't have to have the Ben Simmons debate right now. The point that, but even with that said, the Celtics' worst case scenario are the fourth best team in the league going into next season. Like, you can make the argument they're the second best team. So if there are contenders other than the Warriors, they have to be on that list.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you mentioned the point. Like, I think, too, you talk about defensively what Boston did. Where they hit troubles throughout the course of the postseason was offensively.
Yes.
And their inability to score
the
against
basketball.
stagnant. So you add Kyrie Irving, you add Gordon Hayward. Like, that's exactly what they bring to the table. And I do think there's going to be a bunch of hungry guys. I mean, considering you have to look at what they end up doing, and if Marcus Smart comes back, but Terry Rozier will be a free agent at the end of the season. They've got a lot of young, hungry guys that are going to be looking to continue to improve for a multitude of reasons.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.